Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be 10 things I wish I knew before becoming a Zumba instructor. And before I even get started, I am not complaining. I absolutely love being a Zumba instructor. I wouldn't change it for the world because I get to do what I love and I get to have fun while I'm doing it. And I get to listen to music. And that's probably, if you know me, you know my favorite thing to do is to do nothing but listen to music. So yeah, to actually get to dance around and listen to music for a job, that's amazing, and I wouldn't change it for anything. But there's a few things that I wish I would have known before actually doing it. Number one, most places won't hire you until you have at least a year of experience. I didn't know this. I just hit my year in June, and I'm just now becoming eligible for most of the jobs around here as a Zumba instructor. And I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be, okay, I got my Zumba instructor, a place was looking to hire, and they would just hire you if you had your license. No. Most places want you to have at least a year of teaching experience under your belt. But what I will never understand is you can't get a job without experience, but you can't get experience without a job. So, what? Nobody's going to hire you if you don't have any experience, but how do you get the experience if nobody's going to hire you? Yeah, I wish I would have known that, but I also got really lucky. I got an instructor. I worked with an instructor who actually let me teach the classes, let me take certain songs of hers and teach them instead of her teaching them, and she let me throw in a few of my own songs into her class and just teach as I was choreographing. And I think that's better because at least I have somebody there to help me and say, okay, you need to work on this and you need to work on that and all that. Number two, it takes a while to choreograph on your own. Like, I will say this over and over again. The instructor I have, she can choreograph. She's good at it, and I'm not bad at it. I just haven't been doing it as long as she has, so I just can't choreograph as good as she does. But I never realized how long you actually listen to a song before you can actually choreograph it the way it needs to be done. I listen to songs 2-3 months sometimes before I can even start choreographing them. And I'm not saying like I listen to a song once and then a few hours later I listen to it again. No, I'm saying I listen to these songs on repeat, and it's for like 3 months before I can actually choreograph them. So it does take a while to choreograph on your own, but I think that's what I like about it, because I get to pick the music I use, and I get to pick what I do to it, and I get to make it my own. Number three is different places have different rules, and this is mainly a lot of places have. The gym I work at doesn't. I get really fortunate; they don't really care what music we use, but some gyms do. Some gyms only want you to use the Zumba music. Some gyms don't want you to have a certain artist. Some gyms won't let you use songs with cuss words. And I understand that, but it seems like almost every song now has at least one bad word in it. So it's kind of hard if you have a gym like this. If you work at a gym like that, or if you're going to, that's my thing. Make sure you know before you even say yes to any job, make sure you know their rules on what you can use. Because it's not going to be good when you get in there and you use a song that says ass in it, and you can't use that song because it's that ass. And I've seen that. And I agree with the churches not allowing you to do that stuff, but other places. Okay, so number 4 is you need to know how to market and advertise. And I didn't actually know that. I thought it was going to be, I got a job and people just came to my classes. No, 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 no. You have to, and I learned pretty quick because I got lucky. I was already on YouTube before I was doing it, so I kind of knew how to advertise and how to market myself. But you do need to know how to do that stuff because you have to say you have to be able to put out there that you're teaching a class at this time at this place and da 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 da. And it's not like a one-time thing. You're constantly doing this. And especially if you're like me, if you offer private classes, you have to constantly remind people, hey, bachelorette party, birthday party, bridal shower, whatever you want to do, if you don't want to do a typical one, I can offer this class to you, but you have to pay me a certain amount of money, and you have to continue to advertise yourself for that. And you do that, and not just for private classes, you do that for everything. Gym classes, because a lot of gyms they only pay you a certain amount, and then some of them, the more people you get into the class, the more money you get, so you have to get out there and go, okay, I teach at this gym at this time, and if you're, come on. You have to make sure people know that you're out there and that you're actually offering these classes. Okay. Number 5, it's a lot of boring work. And I don't mean like you're sitting at a desk and you're not doing anything, but if you don't enjoy listening to music constantly, if you don't like sitting down and actually having to go through and figure out how to market yourself and how to advertise, and you're not going to, because that can be very boring if you don't enjoy it. And there are some days where I just don't, where any other day, like today, I'm in a mood to go choreograph like no other. So that's what I'm going to do after I finish filming. But there are some days where the last thing I want to do is actually do anything Zumba related other than go to Zumba class. But it does involve boring work. If you don't like advertising and sitting on your computer and creating all the stuff that goes along with it, and for me, it's boring to just sit down and put all my music into a playlist. I'm one of these people, when I'm listening to music, I am doing it. I'm dancing to it. I'm trying to find, okay, will this move work here? Will that move work there? And will this mesh? And will this song mesh with this song? And what order they need to go in? But when you're actually putting together your playlist after you've got everything choreographed, that can be very boring. And that's even boring for me sometimes, because I don't get to dance when I'm putting it in the order that I want it to be in. Because I kind of have to sit down and listen and think about, okay, can I go from this one to this one? Because you don't want to do a slow song and 6 fast ones and another slow one and then 2 fast ones and another slow one and that be it. You've kind of got to work it out. Okay, so number 6 is use music you love. And for me, my favorite song is Kerosene by Miranda Lambert. I will never choreograph this song. I have choreographed it, but I will never use it in my class, because while I absolutely love it, I don't want it to be a song that I can't stand. But Fire Burning by Sean Kingston, I have used in 3 or 4 of my classes. I absolutely love that song, and I love the routine to it. So you kind of have to find the balance. You have to find music you love and music that you will love to dance to, and music that your class is going to love. And for me, my class loves Fire Burning. Like I said, I brought it back 3 or 4 times just because it's a class favorite. So I'll do it once, do 2 more classes without it. If I don't have enough songs or I want to ask for their input on music, that's usually the number one they say. That and Feel It Still. we just love those songs. So that's the ones that we keep coming back to. So number 7 is kind of like this: take routines you know and make them your own. I'm gonna say this right now. Fire burning, I stole from my instructor. But I did something, but I changed it up a little bit and I made it my own. That way it's not her routine. And even though it is her routine, it's not all of her routine. And the thing with Feel It Still, she changes, if she brings it back, she changes it up. And if I use it, I changed it up. And that's the best thing. You don't always have to use your own choreography. You don't always have to use your own music. Borrow from other instructors that you work with, but make sure you change it up. That way you're not stealing their stuff. Because if you work at a gym and you take something from them, that could result in a problem, and you really don't want to. And if you like me and you post on YouTube, you've kind of got to watch yourself, because you don't want to steal a routine from somebody. Because there have been a few people I've liked some of what the routine is, I don't like it all, so I take what they've done and kind of put my own twist on it. And you will find I don't usually post those. They'll only be in a video because I don't want to get in trouble. Because I'm not stealing their stuff, but you don't want somebody to think you are. Okay, so number 8 is involve your class with music selection and choreography. And I kind of mentioned this, like, when I teach a class, if I have, because my typical class is 16 to 17 songs. So if I have 15 songs and I need one more, or 2 more, or whatever, I will totally involve my class. I say, okay, hey, we're going to do new ones in a few weeks. What songs do you want me to bring back? Or, okay, I'm getting ready to change up routines in a few weeks. What routines do you absolutely love that you want to see again? You've got to involve them. You've got to and ask them for music recommendations. Like, what songs do you want to see in this class? That's the thing. I've learned this from my instructor that I had. And I still go to her classes sometimes, because going to her classes that's great inspiration to what. Because I have a few songs that I've done that she's done, but they're not the same routine. But at the same time, I've also given her, like, I'm not licensed to teach step, so I've given her a few songs for step. And she's open to these recommendations. And that's my biggest thing. You've got to be open to it. And I'm just one of those people that, as much as I love music, sometimes I get stuck. Sometimes I get, okay, what songs do other people like? Because I use songs that I love, but there are other songs out there that I might not even be thinking about. And of course, involvement in choreography too. Like, if they don't like a move, make sure they know that they can modify it. Or if there's just a move that you can do but they can't, change it up. Make sure they know they can change it up. And if they all can't do it, then you change it up. Make sure they're involved in it. Because this class is as much about them as it is about you. Number 9, you have to know about nutrition and exercise. And I didn't actually know this. This is one of those things that I wish somebody would have said, okay, now before you do this, you kind of have to need to know this stuff, because people are going to ask you about it. And I actually get these questions a lot more than I thought. I get questions about, so what other exercises do you do? How do you do this? And my biggest thing the easiest thing for the exercise thing is, if you work at a gym, to recommend other classes to them, or to explain that what you're doing in this class and how it actually helps, like, work your core, work your legs. Because, like, step class, most of our step class is legs and core. But you have to know how to work these parts of your body to actually get the results you want. And I didn't realize you'd actually have to explain this stuff. I just figured it was one of those things that people would kind of know, but most people don't. But I don't mind that because I'm the instructor. I'm kind of there to help you. So that's why you kind of have to know this stuff. You have to know how to explain it. You have to know what to recommend to other people. You have to, especially when it comes to modifications in your classes, you have to know how to modify it for the people who can't do the full on move. And for nutrition, this my gym offers nutrition classes, so most of the time I don't get these questions, but there will be times when I get questions on, so what do you eat before class? How do you stay fueled before class? And the people I work out with, we talk about food during our classes. As much as that probably sounds horrible. When it's just the regular 5 of us that just show up every day, we're usually discussing food. But you kind of, if your gym doesn't offer nutrition classes, or if you don't work at a gym, when people ask you about this stuff, you kind of have to have a basis on it. But you at least have to say, okay, so this is what I take before class, this is what I eat before class, and if you want me to go into more information on what I eat in a day as a Zumba instructor, or what I eat in a day in general, I have videos on that, and that'll help you more along with my explaining my nutrition stuff to you in regards to me being a Zumba instructor. Because depending on what I'm doing for the day and depending on what class, it really depends on what I eat. But my biggest thing is you just have to kind of know this stuff, or at least have someone that you can ask about this stuff. That way you can relay it back to the people who asked. Or at least have the resources so you can ask them. But for the most part, the nutrition stuff is mainly just so, how do you fuel up before class? What do you do after class? And I'm just one of those people, I snack after class. If it hasn't been if I'm not scorched after a class, I have a snack in the car or a snack in my purse, and I eat it as soon as I get in the car after class, because I'm usually starving. But you kind of have to let people know that. But you also have to let them know that what they do is dependent on their body, and what you do is dependent on yours. So it really depends on what you need and what they need. Yeah, I didn't mean to ramble on about that as much as I did, but yeah. So number 10 is cueing is just as important as the music and the choreography. And I know how to cue. I cue like the instructor that I learned from, and I've taken the cueing classes that Zumba offers, but I never realized how important you doing this actually was. I just figured when you did 2, people would just do 2. No, you have to actually let them know that 2 is coming up. So, yeah, you have to learn to cue, and it is just as important as your music and your choreo, and you have to know how to cue it. That way people understand it. Like, the people I teach don't understand this means from the top. And I guess some of the classes I do teach learn that, but most of them just pat their heads. And that's perfectly fine. It's just, if your class doesn't understand that this means something, maybe you shouldn't be cueing that anymore, so I just don't cue that anymore. But you do have to find ways to cue your music, and that's my biggest thing. And you also have to learn how to cue while you're working on your choreography, but that's so hard for me because I'm one of those people. I will change my choreography after we've done it for 2 classes and I just think it's not working. So if it's not working and I change it, I'm going to forget the new cue and I'm going to do the old one because I've burned it into my brain. But that's another thing. After a while, you don't even have to cue. Most of the time, your students will know what you're doing. But it is important. Just throwing it out there that I wish I would have known it was that important because I paid attention, but everybody cues differently, so you kind of have to learn on your own, and you have to learn how your class is going to do it. It's kind of like some people do this for 2. In my class, if we did this, that would mean 4. or if that would mean 2 this way and 2 that way, even though I just mean to do 2 in one direction. So you kind of have to learn how your class is when it comes to your cueing. So that is the 10 things I wish I would have known before becoming a Zumba instructor. And like I said, I'm not complaining. I absolutely love being a Zumba instructor. These are just 10 things I wish I would have kind of known, that somebody would have hinted at, because a little bit more than they did. So, like, if you have not done so already, hit the red subscribe button down below. And of course, I post Zumba videos every Monday. So, other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one, and bye-bye.